don't see the effort that has to go into things, and they want the shortcuts, and there is no shortcut for hard work. Can't compare your age and your career span to somebody else who's just starting.
What do you think of today's generation? Like, what you're talking about is a lot of work, a lot of hours, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice. I find there's a lot of instant gratification that's looked for. I want to be successful today. I want to make money today. I want my startup to get funding and have millions of dollars invested in it today.
So there's an enormous amount of entitlement. You know, that's a reality of where we live. Secondly, the social media is having a huge impact because, like, you can unfriend or befriend someone with a click of a button. Relationships take time. Friendships take effort. They also have a lot of options where they can make money with their phone creating content. So why do they need to work so hard? I mean, a lot of the hours at Google, like I was, you know, you working all the time zone. You work the Dubai time zone from like 9 to 6, and then Europe would wake up. And then my 9 p.m. San Francisco would wake up. I would finish well after midnight, 1 a.m. every day for for the full work week. Sometimes I have to work on the weekends. Like, it's a different way of working right now. They feel like they don't see the effort that has to go into things, and they want the shortcuts, and there is no shortcut for hard work. Don't compare your journey to somebody else's, or look at my career and I'm in my 50s. Like, it's different. You can't compare your age and your career span to somebody else who's just starting. It's hard work, even till today.
That screams sacrifice to me. It's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, I choose to do it. So it's my own business, right? So I don't work for Google. I don't work for Netflix. I work for myself. So the effort and time is something I love to do. You know, I do make sure, I mean, this is one of the benefits of living in the US now. I really feel that they have boundaries. Like, it's not like in the region where you're WhatsApped in the evenings and on the weekends and you're always on. I really do feel like that's a big difference. I just moved back like 2 years ago, so I feel for me it's a big difference where I feel like, oh, nights and weekends are mine. I think one of the things about being there that I'm realizing is how much effort you need to spend taking care of yourself so that you can really be calm and not stressed, because we do live in a 24 hours, real time, so super hyper connected world, and it just becomes a lot and it becomes super overwhelming.
Well, that was my next question in terms of crisis management, because all companies have internal crisis management, right? Like you said, people make mistakes. Okay, and of course communication is key and so forth, but how do you distinguish the difference between, like you said, being able to give that pat on the back as well as being able to be critical?
Yeah, I mean, crisis is like, we live in a world where cancel culture, you know, everything's in 24/7. So usually you'd have time to respond to a crisis. Now you really don't. And people watch like, oh my God, if they didn't respond to it, you know, what's going on? Why aren't they being transparent? Like, we're in a very instant gratification. We need to get the answers quickly. So I think even from perspective of my team, like we focus on a couple things. One, when a crisis hits, number one, rapid response. Like, we need to get an answer quickly. What happened? Do we need to issue a statement? What do we need to do to fix it? And just make sure you do it quickly. Second, if you make a mistake, apologize. So show empathy, because sometimes we don't get it right. We're humans at the end of the day. We're gonna make mistakes. And then I think the third and last one is like, what kind of policy changes need to happen because of this? Like, to avoid this happening again, what kind of action do we need to take? And how are we gonna make sure that we learn from this lesson and we're making significant changes to make sure we don't get stuck in the situation again?
I think that's, I think, accountability. Really, like
100%.
Most people don't have accountability. You have that culture, especially here, where like you'll go to a restaurant and you complain about a dish, and then he'll tell you don't know how to eat it properly, or you know, or you don't know how to cook.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That is the biggest thing that we work on in my company and with the clients, especially. It's just like, and it's something I learned again from Gary, is this accountability. Like, if you made a mistake, own it. Apologize. If you own it and apologize, that's all I'm asking for. But don't just like shove it under the rug, point fingers. I hate that. Don't point fingers at other people.
We're all trying to move forward.
Yeah, like if you made a mistake, just say, you know what? It's on me. My bad. It's on me. I take accountability for it. I actually had a recent situation with someone in Dubai, a client that I was working with something, and it didn't really work out the way it was supposed to work out. And I'm like, it's on me. I take accountability.
Yeah.
And I just told her, I said, you know what, you're right. It didn't work out the way it's supposed to, and it's my fault. And I took accountability and I owned it. And she was just like
shook.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God. She didn't expect me to say.
She expected a fight.
Yeah, she expected me to say pointing fingers and making excuses. I'm like, you know what, you're right. It didn't work out. And we didn't do it right. We could have handled it better. Here's the 3 things we could have done. And then she was like completely, oh my God, I'm so grateful that you said that. I can't believe that you took accountability. That's all I needed to hear. It's like sometimes that's just one small thing can go such a long way.
What keeps you so determined?
I don't want to fail. I don't want to be a failure. And I always want to be learning and growing. And I really, really, really believe in learning all the time and being a lifelong learner. If I'm not learning, I'm not growing. If I'm not growing, I feel like I'm dying. So I'm always like, what's next? What's new? What can I do to improve myself? I'm always talking about this on my social media about invest in yourself, grow yourself, learn about TikTok, learn about Web3, learn about gaming, learn about esports, learn about AI. Because it's so exciting and you want to be present with what's in the world. Why not absorb all of it and take it all in? And so that's kind of how I wake up every day, thinking about, okay, what's the cool thing that's going to happen and how can I be a part of it? And how can I learn to be a part of it? A lot of what I do is I think in terms of creating value. So how do I create value for others? How do I create value for you? How do I create value for my clients? How do I create value for my team members? And I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to do that? And I'm always thinking that's what makes me tick.